Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Welded Life live stream. We're doing a little late recording tonight. I've been doing a lot of deep diving into the West Virginia Guidestones of Fallout 76, as you can't tell. I am a fan. So welcome to the stream. This isn't going to be live. This is something I'm going to post on YouTube, and I'm going to go over this again on my live stream on Twitch. So you'll probably miss that, which is why I'm going ahead and recording it now for the YouTube channel. And for those on the Twitch who miss the Twitch stream tomorrow morning, they'll get to come back and review all this information as well on their own. Now, I've been doing a lot of deep diving. It's been quite the adventure. Couple things I did. We'll start off. Let me bring an image over here and blow it up on the thing. You have the the Georgia Guidestones. For those who are not aware, you have these Georgia Guidestones. Let me go ahead and transition on over. Here you go, right here. These were put up in the 1980s by an unknown individual. He gave a false name and paid for this. Had them all put up in 8 different languages, something like that. Each side of the Georgia Guidestone is some different language. The most commonly spoke languages, and it was put up in this thing here, kind of like a Stonehenge kind of thing. So it has basically guidelines for maintaining the planet with maintain a 500 million population and perpetual balance with nature. It basically is kind of terrifying because it's like we are approaching 8 billion. And that's like a huge reduction in the population. So whoever did this was, be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature. Leave room for nature is the last 3 lines there. And that's rather creepy. It's written in multiple languages, supposedly to leave something behind for future generations to find. Presumably this person probably thought that the world would collapse and end, and these things would, being made of stone, stand the test of time, as we find with many ancient Roman carvings. So what we have here in the Fallout universe is, well, let me grab the image. There we go. You had the same thing, but all I did is I took pictures, screenshots of each of the stones, and then I started realizing these because in the lore, when you go to the Vault Tech University, which was Morgantown University, which they took over. You find a couple of professors and some of the logs talk. One of them has mentioned that he is talking with a lady who has found some glyphs carved in stone out in the middle of nowhere, and I believe what she found because they don't translate, and he wants to keep the images and locations secure. The location secure from him and the images of them and all that. He wants to get him off of she wants him to get him off of his computer to secure him in case somebody's after him for this information, which makes perfectly good sense. You don't want some other hot to trot thief coming and stealing your information and making money off of your hard work when you've done all the legwork and research. But I started looking at these and I realized there were some connecting points. For example, these lines running through. Now, I had to kind of scale pictures back and forth to make them fit, but they do line up, and it does start to look like something. Now, there were some first interesting points. That one right there, which is, I found that it matched pretty well to the San Martino or St. Martin Cathedral in Lucca Cathedral in Tuscany, Italy. These are bas relief carvings. I had to think about the art type. Bear with me, I'm an old redneck. This is actually posted inside this little porch here to the cathedral. With the inscription Hic quam creticus edit Daedalus es labyrinthus de quo nullus vadere civit qui fuit intus ni Tesus gratis Adriane Satame Jutus, which literally translates, this is the labyrinth built by Daedalus of Crete. All who entered therein were lost, save Theseus, thanks to Adrian's thread, which that's an old myth. the Minotaur and the Labyrinth and things like that you hear in lore is what that's a reference to. So basically, I think this part of the map, if it's not a direct reference to something that's going to be where you go for, this is what I'm postulating here. This will be a reference to the madness that will ensue of working your way through a labyrinth. So I expect that the next Fallout game, if this is a reference to it, which I believe it is, for a number of reasons, and we'll go over that in the future, is that this is going to send you, you all were lost. And you're finding probably people are a lost civilization underground. We already have reference to underground civilizations and labyrinths with the mole miners. We already have references to that with the Fallout 3 with that adventurer with Argyle from who lives in the Tenpenny Towers. I can't remember what his name is, top of my head. Who finds an underground civilization. So it's been referenced a couple of times. Not necessarily, people are talking about subways and subterranean areas like New York subways and stuff like that, but that's not an expansive system. Whereas the mole miners would have worked through mine systems and be digging their way further out. I think what we're going to find here is this is something wholly different. Now, back to the primary image here. There was another thing that interested me. It was this little section right here. I saw some things on some maps when I started doing some research. Daedalus was an inventor, father of Icarus. And if anybody knows the story of Icarus, he flew too close to the sun and his wax wings melted and he plummeted to his death, to his demise. So we're talking about something where there's inventions and creations. Creations, madness, and a reference to the sun, which is fire, and then visible fire. We're in the Fallout universe. That therefore is a reference to radiation. Although not a direct reference to radiation, you kind of have to leap from one to the other. But they are, as you can see, connected. Now these, to me, look like streets and possibly... I started to figure out these look kind of like parking lots. Some of this looks like little housing areas, or maybe something even subterranean piping or pathways and things like that. But then I got to this. And this I found utterly confusing. Until I found something very interesting. I found this image, which is, if you look at it, is very, very strikingly similar to it. And it's Florida State University. Okay. They had created a labyrinth. Now, this isn't, of course, a labyrinth because you would only really go on one side, and that would be all you would have of it. But they don't have it. Of course, the aerial view, you can't see it there on Google Earth. It is their biomedical sciences area is where you'll find this located near. Which, oddly enough, this is just kind of stab in the dark. When you look at the primary image here, you'll see this area here, and you see this little bit coming off here. Kind of looks like a little upside down coffin with an ear on it. Wild stab here. I kind of said maybe we're talking about this right here. But then, of course, you got to realize sometimes they don't put things in the order they do. Looking at the Fallout 76 map, some of the cities there are not where they're supposed to be. But I did start to notice something else in stark similarity to our initial image here. When I started to look at it, looking for these circles, wouldn't you know it, if you were paying attention, there's multiples that pop up along this side. Let me get to the Google Earth. I have it marked on here. There it is right there. So you see it's right here. And we have multiple little streams here, roads. And if you'll notice, it's kind of interesting. We have our location there. We have these right here, and this road right up and through here. Which, of course, we know that a lot of their maps aren't necessarily perfectly to scale, but they do like to do some things that are close to it. So what we're looking at here, we scroll back out from our initial image. Where's it at? There it is. We see some of these roads, larger roads up here, and I'm thinking, well, I didn't know if these were initially something that was carved into it on purpose or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's surface roads versus subterranean. So this would be a surface road. Maybe this is subterranean. I don't know. But I did notice this half circle thing here. Going back to our map. Oh, wouldn't you know it, it's a Catholic church with that little half circle not far from there. And it's got this little tail off to the side, a little walk path. Now, of course, it may be laid out different, styled different, because we are talking about the Fallout universe, and they followed that 50s trend on out past the 1950s into the modern day and beyond, as it refers to our timeline where we're 50 years or so behind them. Interestingly enough, Florida State University has the Fox Lab. If you don't know what the Fox Lab is, that is a nuclear physics lab that's produced generations of elite scholars. This is just an article I found. I thought that was pretty neat because my initial thought process on the images were very technical, and as far as, you know, things like that. And I started looking up the building, and let me see. There was an image that kind of struck me as weird. Maybe it's not on here. Maybe not. Nope. So I go. But I did find an image that kind of, as far as like when I was searching for this place, here it'll show up in this. Wish I'd still held on to it. It wasn't of this location, but it was of a similar location. At the angle that it presented, it kind of looked like, well, I guess I'm not going to find the image. Okay. It resembled, if I can find it, I'll show it some other time. It kind of resembled the shape of this building, this here, which is a building. And if it was, and we're talking about nuclear physics and stuff like that, once again, creation, the fire, and burnt invisible fire, the things you find from the other Fallout games, the references to radiation. But we know that the Fox Lab there in Florida, at the Florida State University, was subterranean, or was underground. They installed all kinds of stuff way on back when. And they've taken new directions with it since then, upping their what they have there as far as their lab among several founding members, association research with University Nuclear Accelerators, a consortium organized by Professor of Physics, current Fox Lab Director Ingo Weidenhofer, which I know nothing about. But you can see they're still running the program there in the Department of Physics, the physics department there, which, if you go to Google Earth, is, let me see, where would it be? Oh, wait. Oh, there it is right there. And that's interesting, because right here is our other little location for that little walk path. Huh. Wonder where our game's going to be. Well, we already made mention of the alligators of Fallout 4, the Nuclear World DLC, the large Deathclaw-like creatures. So you already have that reference in there. You have the Georgia Guidestones reference. So we're talking the game is basically telling us we're moving further south. You've got the diagram on the West Virginia Guidestones of what I believe is Florida State University. You have these new, another interesting fact. Let me see if I can find you have Air Force bases down there. You have a couple in Georgia, and you have, of course, you have naval bases down in Florida, things of that nature. So you're already going to have that military presence for what I believe will probably run in with the Enclave, possibly a Brotherhood of Steel faction down there if it even exists down there. And looks like you're going to be dealing with probably a lot of chaos that ensued in the fallout, or maybe an institute type situation here with Florida State University, being as they have their physics lab. It's of note. So that's some things to chew on. So that's where I believe we're going. I think it may even be that they do a Georgia-Florida combo, multiple states, like they do have done regions with Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, where you cover a lot more of those particular commonwealths. So you have a strong possibility you'll probably see Florida, Georgia. You may even get Alabama, because there's been some references. Maybe a little bit of North Carolina or Louisiana. Maybe they'll do a southeast thing all the way through Mississippi and Louisiana. Probably won't touch Nashville, the Tennessee line, but they might go as far as Mississippi, because you have a lot of big cities down there, well-known cities: Huntsville, Alabama; Birmingham, Montgomery; Panama City Beach; Pensacola. You got Tallahassee, Florida; Atlanta, Georgia. I know some of these cities I'm not mentioning are in the same state, but you have a number of different things down there. Let me back over here, and there we go. So you have a number of things here. You can see I've been working diligently on different things here. So you've got a number. There was an Air Force base over here I went looking at too. There's some other interesting things that I found that were possibles, but I think this is what it's when you go into Georgia, your guidestones are in Elberton, Georgia. So, see, I've already got them guidestones marked out there. So it would be quite a bit of a span, but honestly, if you're talking about nuclear fallout, a lot of Florida would probably have been destroyed or flooded with nuclear fallout. So you probably have a rise in the waters. So probably a lot of this: Tampa, Melbourne, Orlando, Kissimmee. You might have some of the soldiers come up from Fort Myers after all of it, who probably would have pushed into, I would assume, at Orlando if it's still there. But let's see. There's a lot to consider with this, and Tallahassee. This is where your Florida State University lab is. So none of this down here really would have to affect any of gameplay between Georgia, Florida, even South Carolina, or Alabama. And they may go into Mississippi, I don't know, but I would say probably Alabama, Georgia, Florida, this thing here. With all the alligator references, I just don't see why they wouldn't. They might come over here and grab some more, but I'm going to assume, play it safe and say probably this area here, and it's probably wouldn't go for any further than maybe Tampa or Kissimmee. This will probably be the cutoff right in here. That's going to be my prediction. So that is the this week's episode of Fallout Theories and Madness. Y'all have a wonderful day, a blessed day, and we'll see you next time for our next episode of Fallout Theories and Madness. If you have anything you'd like to see me do or dig in on a little harder, feel free to contact me via the Discord. It is linked here on the channel. You can also hit me up on TikTok. I'm on there. Same welded name. Same welded flavor. You can hit me up via my Twitch stream. Same welded name. Same welded flavor. Keeping it nice and easy for you. But that's what I got for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this little sample of my Fallout Theories and Madness. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.